This podcast may contain explicit language, mature topics, and possible spoilers. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello, everyone. The Vern back here for another Vern's Quickie here over at Cinema Recall Podcast. I'm here today to talk about probably one of the more divisive movies of 2026. I'm here to review Maggie Gyllenhaal's The Bride. Here's the TV spot, and I'll be right back.
What happened?
We dug you up, and we brought you back to life. I'm the same. Born from the dead.
The dead have got something to say. And I'm saying it. Scared?
The Bride, rated R, only in theaters March 6th.
All right. So The Bride is written and directed by Maggie Gylllenhaal, and it stars Jesse Buckley, Christian Bale, with appearances from Peter Sarsgaard, Penelope Cruz, and Maggie's brother, Jake Gyllenhaal. And it is the story of a woman who gets reincarnated by Frankenstein himself to help be his partner. And then later on, she learns to be her own person and yet still wants to find love. Look, folks, I will say this on the bat that this has to be probably one of the most wildest art films that a major studio has released. And I know a lot of people are comparing The Bride to Joker Folie à Deux. And I love Joker Folie à Deux a lot, but I don't know if those comparisons are right. Yes, while this movie, The Bride, does have musical sequences, and people can compare both The Bride and Frankenstein to be almost a lot like Joker and Harley from Joker Folie à Deux. Both movies, they don't follow the same paths, all right? For the first part, Joker movie sequel takes mostly place in prison, all right? And this one, it is a road picture. I mean, Maggie Gyllenhaal is taking influences from Sid and Nancy and Wild at Heart, Bonnie and Clyde, Natural Born Killers. And I know that there are a lot of details about Bonnie and Clyde that are put into The Bride as well. But I think what I appreciate the most about The Bride is that it is a love letter to movie lovers, all right? To people who enjoy watching movies. Frankenstein, Christian Bale, loves going to the theaters and he loves watching like these old Hollywood musicals. There's one particular Hollywood musical that he loves that has Jake Gyllenhaal, and most of the story is about the bride and Frankenstein traveling to all these places to watch movies. Yes, they are on the run from the law because one night Frankenstein protected the bride from being sexually assaulted by these creepoids, and now they are on the run because of it. But also, it's a story about a woman who realizes that she does not necessarily need to have a man in order to get through things. But she comes to realize that Frankenstein is not there to like hold her back or control her in any ways. Frankenstein wants his bride, to be her own person, to be her own individual person. And she herself is trying to figure out who she is. And people have talked about, well, she changes accents a lot. And I think she does that because she does not know what her own persona is going to be. Yes, there are moments in the movie where it switches from like comedy to musical and then back to this drama. Uh, Penelope Cruz and Peter Sarsgaard, they are these two detectives who are on the search for them. And I love their dynamics. It reminds me very much of like the Thin Man, that type of like 30s, even though they're not a couple in this one. And then we have this other subplot about these gangsters who are trying to find the bride because I guess earlier she was playing like the sex worker to get information for these crime bosses to expose them as well. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, but god damn it, folks, I had a lot of fun with this movie. This is the definition of a cult movie. It has 50%, 57% on Rotten Tomatoes, mm, and it's a movie that you're either going to vibe with it or you're not going to vibe with it. If you like weird, crazy cult films, I like Drop Dead Fred or Howard the Duck, Xanadu, Showgirls. You are gonna have a lot of fun with this movie, but if you're not into those movies, you're not gonna like this one as much. Yeah, I definitely see some David Lynch in this film. Also see some, you know, other people I can't think of right now, but I can see a little bit of, especially Wild at Heart. Yeah, this movie's a lot of fun. Check out my episode I did on the Lambcast over at largeassmovieblogs.com, where I get into more about The Bride. But yeah, it is essentially is like a punk rock musical. It's like John Waters meets David Lynch, meets I can't remember the guy's name, but he directed The Holy Mountain. I can't remember his name right now at the top of my head. Yeah, it just has these elements, and then you put dashes of Verhoeven's work in there from like Showgirls and whatnot. So yeah, it's just I will say this right now: The Bride will not be for everyone, but I had fun with it. I in this day and age now, where internet critics are everywhere and everyone has like a blog site, I don't think people like taking chances too much on movies, all right? Because everyone seems to be focusing on the box office and box office reports. And I think this is one you just have to go in by yourself and just see how you feel about it. Jesse Buckley, congratulations to you on winning your Oscar. I'm kind of hoping that her win for Hamnet Oscar will get people to watch The Bride because she does a damn good job. She's really good. She has like 3 roles she's playing. She's also playing Mary Shelley, and she's playing the girl Ida before she gets reincarnated as the bride. And look, spoiler here, folks, it has the best use of the monster mash that has ever been seen on film. So yeah, if you are a film watcher who likes to have everything in their films be explained and you need things to be logical, this is not for you. I recently rewatched Charlie's Angels from McGee from the early 2000s, and I will say this: if those movies were like pretty big blockbusters, at least the first one was, if those were released today, people would give them the same reviews they're giving The Bride. Like, it's campy, it doesn't make any sense. There's stuff that just goes off the rails. It has no logic, and yet it's a lot of fun. And that's how I kind of feel about The Bride. I feel like it's a lot of fun, despite not making much sense. And for me, a movie does not have to have much logic as long as it's fun. I think Maggie Gyllenhaal is having a lot of fun with their reinterpretation of The Bride, because in the original The Bride of Frankenstein, the bride doesn't show up for like at least a good hour. The bride herself is only in like the last 10 minutes of the movie. All right. And so this time we are going to be seeing the bride and her perspective throughout the whole thing. And it's a great vengeance story for women. And I love the fact that there's a lot of women at the end who copy the style of the bride. By the way, that makeup the bride has, that is going to be a big cosplay moment. You know how uh whenever there are protests that happen in this country about any states taking away women's rights or abortion rights or like anything that affects women's like own sexual rights. They always do like the Handmaid's Tales outfits. I think the bride makeup is going to be the new wave of feminine feminist protest. And I absolutely love it. I love that they even let the men wear it too, and that just seems to be a great thing. So I'm advocating this right now. If any women knows of any like sexual predators or assholes, put ink on their face. All right, make that to be a statement that any type of people who do any sexual crimes or rape or anything like that, yeah, destroy their faces. All right, so yeah, get a gang of women together to attack the patriarchy. Loving it, and I'm hoping that the bride herself will become this big feminine icon right there. So yeah, out of 5 stars, I gotta give the bride solid like 4 stars. I think it goes on a little bit too much, but overall, I had very fun with the bride. I was vibing it with the whole way through. I think Jesse Buckley and Christian Bale are good. Christian Bale does something that all good supporting actors do is that he does support the bride herself, and he does an amazing job of doing that. Yeah, shout out to the folks over the Film Rage podcast because they talked about that on their episode on the bride. So yeah, it is. I can see how this movie could be seen as a mess, and I know my ramblings on this one probably will not convince you to like it or watch it. But as I said before, if you are into those type of films, and I mentioned in my letterbox review, this is what it must have felt like to see the Rocky Horror Picture Show before it became a cult classic. And that's what this film is. It is a cult feature. I can imagine midnight showings of this movie happening for years to come. And hey, only time will tell. But yeah, I expect a Criterion release of The Bride. I think Maggie Gylllenhaal does a lot of fun. I have not seen her other movie, The Lost Daughter. I will. But that's it. That's a review of The Bride over on the podcast as well as YouTube. Coming soon, I'm going to be doing a whole new director series. We cover directors such as Yorgos Lanthimos, David Cronenberg, Sean Baker, Paul Thomas Anderson. Our newest series is going to be on Robert Rodriguez, the guy who made Sin City and Desperado from Dusk Till Dawn. I'm calling it Recalling Rodriguez. Look for it in April. It's going to happen like this. Patreon users will get the episodes first on patreon.com/cinemarecallpod. And then the next week, audio listeners will get the audio episode. And then the following week, YouTube watchers will get the video episodes as well. So if you're a Patreon user, you get the video episodes up before anyone else. Again, patreon.com/cinemarecallpod. Thank you so much for listening and watching Cinema Recall. Please give us a like, share. We're available anywhere you can find podcasts as well as YouTube, but we're also available on the audio apps such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Goodpods, all those places. Anyways, folks, I'm the Vern. I love you all very much, and I will talk to you later. Bye, everybody.